All right, man. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, it's your boy Sarge, man. I got the
Morning.
blues today, man. I've got a little bit of bronchitis, man, but we're going to soldier through this thing and we're going to make it do what it do. A lot of stuff to talk about this morning, man. I-10. We talk about motorcycling 2024. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Still muted. Okay.
Hey, man, it's your boy Sarge on the Iron Elite Podcast Show, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give the Lord a round of applause for waking us up this morning. All right, I already know, man. Sarge, why you always play all that slow music in the morning, man? I thought you was an outlaw. Yeah, but I'm smooth with it, man. I can't be playing all that wild rap music, man. That stuff give me heart murmurs when I'm on a motorcycle, man. So if you're going to be listening to Sarge, man, you're going to be listening to slow stuff, man. So that's what's happening. But hey, first and foremost, I want to say top of the morning to the Bells. What's happening, family?
What's happening, Sarge?
Everything's good.
Hey, man, they fresh back from the West Coast, man. How long y'all been back to Florida? About a week now? It ain't even been a week.
Not quite. We got back Wednesday.
I forgot.
Wednesday. They don't even know what day it is. Hey, that's what happens when you motorcycle far, man. But I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this morning on the Iron Elite Podcast, man. We're going to talk about the I-10. Yeah, that's right. A long ways on it. Matter of fact, I heard somebody say, Sarge, ain't nowhere in the world I would stay on the same highway for days, man, and don't see nothing else and don't make a turn. I said, I know. That's why it ain't for everybody, you dig? Hey, man, that I-10 will baptize you if you ain't prepared. But that's what we're going to talk about this morning with Saunne. We're going to talk about her epic ride. Her ride was a winter edition ride. So there's a lot more that goes into it. Or let me say, there's a different component to it when you're riding in the winter versus when you're riding in the summer. But we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself to us. Kind of tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll kick this thing off if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm Saunne Bell, one half of the Bells. A little bit about me. I'm 53 years old, live in the Miami, Florida area. As far as career-wise, I'm in IT, been in IT from literally high school.
Hey, that means she's smart, man. She's really smart.
And then you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, David Bell. I've already been on this before. I did mine back in March. I did it again with her, but I'm going to let her do most of the talking unless she wants me to say something.
Hey, David, he like whoopings, man. He done it to 10 twice in 1 year, man. That's mentally exhausting, man. So I'm gonna say this. So again, welcome aboard, Bells. We're gonna talk about things that we love to talk about, and that's motorcycling and motorcycling great. So we come up with this idea that we want to go across the country while it was cold. So if you don't mind, start us off and tell us what was your preparation when you hollered out and say, Sarge, I want to do the 10 to the end. How many days was it from the time that you registered to the time that you left? What was your preparation time?
So first off, let me say that this trip came about because, I get very little off time for work. I'm in the consulting field of IT, so it's very client based. So when I found out that we could actually take off, then I was like, I've been saying that I wanted to do it ever since David did it, because he showed me the possible. So once we found out, I was going to be off from December 26th to January 2nd, then I was like, maybe I'll take off an extra couple of days and see if, let's see if I can get the plan together with my husband, and then we could possibly do this. And he's an awesome planner. So, he kind of, once he saw that I was serious about doing it, then we started talking about gear. So it was probably before Thanksgiving that I
Right before
got the
Thanksgiving.
confirmation that I could actually take the time off. So then I mean, the route is kind of set. You have no choice but to be on I-10. So
You ain't doing a
that,
whole lot of navigating.
yeah, it's not, you even need a
Yeah.
GPS.
Yeah.
But we actually do have that. We'll talk about that. But, once it was all set in motion that we were going to do it, I literally, he started planning, where we're going to stay. Let's see how many days we're going to take. Are we going to ride X number of hours the first day, second day, and so on? And then I always like to do the harder part of the rides first. So we decided that we'll do an iron butt and actually a bun burner, a saddle sword 1000 up front, so that the theory is you're more rested at the beginning of the ride. So why not get the hard stuff out of the way? And that also leaves time for, if you decide to take a little more time, you still have the time to do it. As we understand it, you have 7 days to do the whole ride.
Correct.
So we were like, let's get all this hard riding out of the way first, and then do an average of 600 to 700 miles a day going forward after that. And if we want to do an iron butt on the way back, we can also do one of those going back also. So that was kind of our mindset. So then once we decided like the number of miles that we would attempt up front, then we started focusing on stops. Where were we going to stay? And luckily, since he had done this before, he knew kind of where the nice hotels right off I-10 that are in
That's right.
cities near gas stations. So I leveraged his experience. So I mean, that was the best part for me, is that because he's already done it, he knows, and he's traveled across country a lot anyway. So I've done a fair amount, but not as much as him. He knows where we're going to face traffic. Like, you don't want to be near Houston during rush hour. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So he's like, let's get us to places where we can leave early, avoid places,
Mhm.
Like Houston. And El Paso had a little bit of traffic. So he's trying to get us farther
Well, that was
along.
just construction though in El Paso.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell you what, if you don't mind, okay, so let's take it back just a little bit. Okay, you said from beginning of Thanksgiving, and I think you guys officially launched the day after Christmas. And am I correct?
That was
Yes.
the day that we
Okay, the
left. Yes.
26th. Okay, so is it
So about a
fair?
month.
About a month. Okay, about a month in
Yeah.
your planning, and it's something I did see that you took advantage of, and because we were doing this series, I think during that time we were doing the series, The Road to Iron Elite, and we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
specifically cold weather riding.
Yep.
So, if you don't mind, can you tell us? Because I think you and I talked about this offline a little bit. From the videos, did that help you do some of your prep work before going to the
Oh,
ride?
that was very valuable information. Just from the gear to how you're gonna feel. Um, I think I mentioned to Loki offline that him and Reef's session and the one with Preach, all of
Hmm.
those helped me understand that maybe I'm going to need additional gear for this thing, because I'm just thinking I could just put on my FXRG jacket and a hoodie and maybe some long johns under some jeans
You're
and
right.
get, or maybe some riding pants.
Hmm.
But it helped me and also him know that maybe we don't have enough gear.
Right.
So it's not just wearing cotton. I think somebody said cotton kills or something on these cold rides.
It will, because you'll sweat and
So
then it'll hold it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that was something quickly we adapted immediately as soon as we watched it. I think he watched the series, both series, twice. I watched I think I watched the second one, the first one or the second one two times, and I was like, yeah, this is letting me know that we got to make some changes, or at least I'll be cold out there.
Right.
So
What
we
what kind of
quickly.
if you don't mind, what kind of suit did y'all end up getting? Did y'all end up getting a Gerben?
So I didn't have a I had some riding pants, several kinds, but after I tried them all on, I was like, I can't fit my heated pants underneath all of this. So as far as the riding suit itself, he ended up getting me a Harley Passage suit, which is made by this company called Revit, and Harley
Hmm.
just puts their name on it. But beyond that, as far as heated gear, he got me both of us, the Gerbing heated
Yeah, the heated gear.
liners
Right, right.
with the gloves. And
Hmm.
since the ride, he's also got us the pants and the heated socks. Like
Yeah,
now we ready, if we
yeah,
do
for sure,
something like
for
this
sure,
again. But
sure.
I also had some other no name heated pants off Amazon, which worked fine.
Hmm.
They were battery powered, and then battery powered socks. I had several pairs of those, and then wool socks. But as far as the base layer, which I also thought was really key, I could tell that really helped. We had Merino Tech
The wool,
wool
the
base
wool. Yeah,
layers,
yeah.
and their stuff is really good. And he has, as far as underwear, he has wool underwear. So it's a
Like it
company
too.
called Woolly, Wooley, I think.
Right.
He loves those. He's like, I'm gonna wear them in the summertime. I don't know why,
No,
I
only
think,
but
the underpants, not the
hey,
undershirt.
David was very proud of those underwear.
They,
You feel me?
those things are
of his
soft. They
wool
are nice.
undergarments.
Not
Anyway,
cheap though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Because
will tell
actually,
you,
that's
Merino
actually
Tech
that's the next
is.
thing I'm gonna talk about. But I'll let you finish. That's actually
Okay.
the next thing.
Oh,
Okay.
we spent we spent some money at the last minute, but I mean, thank God we are able to afford it. But yeah, the suits, the all of the gear we spent at the last minute. Plus, he also decided to add some extra lights to our bikes at the last minute. We'll talk about adding
For sure.
things to
Oh yeah,
bikes at
we're
the
gonna.
last
Hmm.
minute because yeah, we'll talk about that. But as far as the gear, I think we were very well prepared when it came to getting on the road. But I mean, all that stuff was at the last minute. Like we were counting down. He was tracking the packages. Like, okay, I hope these pants come. I hope this jacket comes
Yeah, I
at the
remember
last
that.
minute.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
Gerbing, as a matter of fact, for the Gerbing gear I got from the warming store, I actually called them back on the same day I ordered, and I was like, "When is that going to be here?" And they said, "Probably the 27th or 28th." And I'm like, "No, can we get it here faster?" She says, "Well,
Hmm.
if you pay us $14, no problem.
Hmm.
Send it."
yeah.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference. I know that I would have probably had some kind of frostbite or something, or probably would have been like, listen, we're going to have to turn this thing around because, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was that cold.
So let me say this. This is what we all been waiting on. Everybody on this live right now, they want to know what was it hitting for, how much, and how bad the damage was gonna be.
Oh, as far as the cost?
Hmm.
Okay, I can probably tell you that better than she can,
Yeah,
Okay.
because I usually order stuff and don't tell her until it gets there.
right.
But the Gerbing gear, like what happened with that? I put a link out there because Loki was sharing some stuff. So I said, and I see the sale on Gerbing. Let me put it out there. And Gerbing, I think it was like $4.89 at first, and they had it on sale for $3.89. Plus, they had
Is it
this
each
code.
or for?
Yeah, each. They had a
Yeah, it's
code
definitely each.
FB20, and you get another 20% off. And so I put the link out there, and I was like, wait a minute, $100 off plus another 20%. I was just going to get it for her at first because I didn't know if I'd need it or not. And plus, I already had some stuff that I used last year. I was like, well, if I'm getting it for her, I might as well get it for me too. Because, it's not going to hurt anything. So I went
Yeah.
ahead and ordered it also. And by the way, people, that sale is still going on right now. So if you think you want some heated gear, go to the warming store. They have it on sale. And also use the code FB20, like Facebook
Matter
FB20.
of fact,
And you get
do me a favor, if you can. Can you shoot that link after this is over, or
okay.
shoot it to
I'll
me,
do
and I'll
that.
put that link on this video, because I want people to have quick access to that kind of stuff. I think it's
Oh
a
Right.
big
yeah,
deal. I know people are going to be coming in the next what 3 weeks or so for the
Yeah, they
event,
might
so
need it coming from up north.
to have access to that as quick as possible. So you don't want to have to learn the hard way. Okay,
oh
so
definitely
yeah,
not.
Yeah.
okay,
That's
so we
not
left
the
at
weather to play in either.
so we
Now,
left
the
at
one.
what we said 389 for the Gerben. So
Yes, and
uh
another
okay,
20% off if you use the code FB20. And
okay,
that's for the jacket liner, the gloves, the controller, and the harness. It's
389.
it's a dual zone controller.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Right now, I believe they're giving you the digital controller, which is actually is wireless ready. Before we just got the regular controller, the regular dual zone, but
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it the other day and I noticed they were advertising. Looked like they're advertising the better controller.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
okay,
Okay.
and so we didn't have the Gerben pants and socks before, but you may want to tell them
Yeah,
the
yeah.
expense
Well,
for that
yeah,
too.
get that. Go ahead and if you're going to get it, might as well. If you can afford it, get it all.
And
But
how much
definitely
was that?
that the pant liners I think were 199. The socks were like 69, and you can still get 20% off. I have to look and see exactly how much I spent on that, but I know it came to for both sets. It came to three something.
Okay, and
Okay.
then
That was for two sets.
my passage suit
That's expensive.
that was expensive.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So that
That's a
was
that
that's a nice suit. That was
yeah.
a
that
very
Well,
nice
jacket
suit.
is
Yeah.
like is a jacket like 800 and
yeah.
something.
The whole suit together cost 1,400. I get a discount sometimes, but I couldn't get it because I ordered it through the store. I didn't have time to go to our store and order it. I just couldn't do it. So I went ahead and I paid that. But she had already bought me the grit gear last year,
And I
right
thought his was
before I went to the
expensive.
Three Flags. Yeah, mine's cost about 1,000. Hers about 1,400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's
y'all dropped the load, man.
yeah,
I saw
it's
you
You
not
pull
put
up.
it
cheap.
I
It's
in.
some good stuff though. That grit,
yeah, yeah, good quality
like I don't
gear.
know if you noticed in my video, I didn't even use any heated gear until we were on our way back.
Yeah, when we hit Fort Stockton again,
Again,
that's when he
yeah.
Yeah.
decided, okay, it's time to put
Yeah,
something.
Took
wasn't playing
Tucson.
no
We
games
took
with you,
mine to
was it?
Tucson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say again, Sarge.
No, no, I was saying, yeah, it wasn't playing no games on the backside of Fort Stockton. I happened to
No,
start looking
not
at
at
the
all.
temperature in the morning, and yeah, it was. So, anybody who knows Sarge, man, I do not like. I will do it, but I don't like riding in cold if I can help it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still undecided if I like, because I'm not a hot weather
Hmm.
rider like that. Y'all can have that 110, 115. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
check
it'll
out.
get you down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
shout out to riding through Nevada in the summer. It will beat you down like it's nobody's business. Yeah, yeah.
I like
me
it.
and the hot pipes
Hmm.
and all. Oh no, definitely not. But
Hmm.
I think I like the cold weather riding better. I mean,
Right.
it presented its own challenges. Like I said in one of my little commentaries that I put on the Iron Elite page,
Hmm.
it definitely, like, my hands and feet were a little bit traumatized from the cold. Even though I had the heated gloves on, I could tell my fingertips. I want to say someone from one of your other videos said that they wish that Gerben would do something about the fingertips on the gloves, because that was, I could feel that, and my fingertips felt like somebody had rubbed sandpaper across them. I
Okay.
couldn't get, like, in the evenings I try to lotion them up to try to kind of heal them from it, but I felt that a lot in my toes, so there was still, I was still getting a little bit of air, but I have to say overall that heated gear did me right. I mean, it
Awesome.
really helped.
Awesome.
What
So
I
I
found, oh,
no,
sorry.
go ahead,
What
dude.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say, what I found worked out for the fingertips that she started doing after I told her to do it is put the bike on cruise control, or either when you were throttling, just take one hand off of your, the other handlebar and take it, and the warmth from that glove would eventually get to your fingers. Then put that on cruise control, take your throttle hand off, and your hands would get a lot warmer. Even though
Yeah.
they're in the heated glove, your fingertips
That's
would
what
get
I do,
warm.
but man, I don't. My hands still be cold.
Okay, but it
I
helps.
just, yeah, yeah, it does, man. But I found that once it get cold, it's just getting cold, man. Some
It's
things
just
you're just gonna
cold.
have to endure with and deal with, because you're gonna do so much. It's
Yeah, and
just
then
what
it
it
becomes
is.
mental. It's like, hey, I got so many more miles to go. I can't be really focusing on this. I just gotta
Right.
just deal with it.
Yeah.
I turn the gloves all the way up, and the top and
That's
bottoms
too
of my
hot.
hands are getting warm, but my fingertips are still feeling this a little bit. So,
Hmm.
I did what he said as far as taking breaks, but yeah, it is what it is at that point.
Matter of fact, I did see somebody said get Phoenix Flaming Hot heated motorcycle gear gloves. I had the
Yeah,
guy on Ken Phoenix
right.
Okay.
that
Yeah, I mean, I think those are my future. I mean, he's saying he
yeah,
doesn't
Well,
know,
yeah,
but
well,
I think it was low key that just ordered some, had him modify. I think he's sending it over to
right,
get
because
his
Carl
gloves
already has the
modified
set.
now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that
we'll
guy,
probably get some, but to be honest, like I told her, well, this year would have been too late anyway, and we really don't do a whole lot of cold weather
Cold
riding.
weather
So I said,
ride,
maybe
yeah,
I'll probably will look into it, because what
yeah.
I want to do, the only problem I have with the Gerbing gloves, well, the fingertips didn't really bother me. Mine didn't get that cold for some reason, but the gauntlet
The
part of the
gauntlet.
glove, to me,
Hmm.
it didn't go over the jacket enough. I have a pair of Harley gloves I had that actually, before I wore those gloves, the
Hmm.
gauntlet goes over the whole jacket, so it keeps all the air out and everything, and you have enough
Right.
room. To me, the Gerbings, it didn't have enough to go over that, and you're sitting there, and you always had this little incy space
Yeah,
where
and the
air was
Yeah.
air
coming
got
in.
it in.
Where
Yeah.
air come get you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I had my
Yeah.
liner up so hot it was trying to offset that cold air. But then I
Yeah.
could hear Reef in my head from one of his videos when he said, "You turn that heating gear up, you get sleepy." The way that he
Yeah,
said
you
it,
actually, yeah, you do. Yeah, you actually you
I
do.
kept getting
Cause you
sleepy.
nice and toasty. It's like being in a sleeping bag.
I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was like I was wearing a little electric blanket, so it was
Yeah.
nice, but it made you so comfortable, and your eyes start getting low. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I gotta make it cold in here again.
Well, I was told you got to be comfortable with being a little uncomfortable. You don't want to be
Exactly.
Right.
totally comfortable on a motorcycle because you'll take a nap in the bushes
Oh
if you
no,
ain't
yeah,
careful.
that we
If you're
don't
not
want.
careful. So
Yeah.
hey, so let's say on the modest side, let's say to get a complete get on like you guys had, is it safe to say about 1,500?
Yeah, each. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, about
Okay.
1,500 each. Okay, so let's, if you don't mind, let's transition. Let's talk about the motorcycle side. Let's talk about those cool lights that you guys had on your bikes, because y'all was built for speed when it comes to. And a guy like Sarge, I can't see in the dark, man. So I need as much light as humanly
I'm not.
possible.
I'm not a fan of riding in the dark. I mean, I do
Yeah.
it because I have to.
Oh, you had some lights on that thing now. You were lit
Yeah.
up well. Hmm.
Listen, he took lights off before we started
Yeah, I
because
was going to show you a picture of those. Actually, I had them on my bike still. No, I had taken
is
them
this
off
one
before.
right
Yeah,
here?
this light right here on Amazon. It doesn't really brighten much up, but I loved how it looked. But
Hmm.
let me tell you some problems I had with this light that goes above on your windshield, and right on your fairing above your windshield. Now, when we first bought them, uh, my wife and I, we were going to a little parade for a promotion somebody had, and I noticed when she was behind me. I like, all right, what's going on? I'm looking at her. I can see her headlight and her two running lights I had for her, but I couldn't see the Harley running lights. And I told her to come up on me, pull up, and I looked, and I said, go ahead of me. I noticed when she went ahead of me, her back lights weren't working. I said, okay, put on the brakes. Brake lights didn't work. I said, turn on your turn signals. The turn signals worked, but only the turn signals on the tour pack and also on the bags. So I said, no, this is not right. In fact, we were supposed to go, I think we were supposed to go somewhere else first. I said, let's turn around and go right back home. I'm going to see what's going on with this. And what happened, I would turn the bike off, turn it back on. Those lights would come on.
This is like 2 days or something
Yeah, this
before we're
was 2
leaving.
days
Oh
before
boy.
we're getting ready to leave.
So
3
he
days,
had
actually 3 days.
just put those lights on
Yeah.
it. He put the same ones on his bike,
So I
plus
figured,
lights around the headlights.
yeah,
So
I
those
figured,
lights on the fairing.
yeah, I figured, so, okay, it's just a problem with one set. We went home, I took them off, I put some other stuff on there. I said, okay, let's go ahead. We went on a ride. Everything was fine. Now, on the way up to see you in Jacksonville, we hit a little bit of rain, and I noticed when we got to the stoplight, I said, Sonia, are my rear lights on? She said, yeah, your rear lights are on, but some of them are off. Not all of them are on. I said, okay, is my brake light working? She said, yeah, your brakes are working. I said, all my brakes are flickering and everything. She said, yeah. So, okay, no problem. I turned the bike off, turned it back on. I said, well, I said it did the same thing, but it's wet now. Maybe they're getting wet somewhere, because hers went out immediately. I mean, we didn't even get 3 blocks from the house. And
Hmm.
so getting up to you, they went out one more time. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch these. We got on that trip. It was every 15 minutes they were going out. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I didn't mind that they were going out, but when they went out, they take your running lights and everything out.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the turn signals still work and my brakes still
Yeah.
work. But I have a limited. She has a special. On a special, the brakes won't work anymore. So we
Hmm.
got, so all the way out there, I was like, what, forget this. When we get a chance, I'll get to it. But almost every time we got in, it was dark. And I was like, I'm not gonna mess with that bike. I'm not in the dark, right?
Right.
So on the way back, when we got to Tucson, we got there pretty early that day. And I went out there and I immediately took those lights off and threw them in the tour pack.
So the moral of the story is I would not be adding new stuff to your bike
Yeah.
right before you go on a long ride.
You
I think the
understand?
Soldiers United said something about that on yesterday's
Mm-hmm.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly agree with that because you don't have time to really see if it's going to
Just
work, and if
troubleshoot
it's
it. To
going to
go
start
through it.
showing
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It's going to show out when you least
Yeah.
expect it and when you need it.
Most.
So let's try, test out, to me, all of the new equipment, new gear before, well in advance of a long ride. That would be my personal
Yeah, that
take
goes
on
from
it.
mechanical as well as
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely mechanical.
Oh
electrical
yeah.
Oh
because yeah, I always tell everybody, look, if you can finna get some motor work or something like that
oh
done on
no.
that bike, don't do it a couple days before your trip, man. You need to,
Yeah.
you need to do that a couple weeks to be able to put a few hundred miles on that bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
What they say?
Also, I was going to tease you, Sarge. You think I was lit up when you saw me? You haven't seen the
Yeah.
last lights I
He
put on my
just
bike.
added new
Uh,
lights.
Yeah,
Yes, yesterday.
some yeah,
yeah.
Denali D7s.
Yeah.
They are bright.
Yeah.
Well, we still got to talk, man, because I need to make sure when you come down that I get the right lights, man. Because with me, I just know when it's dark, I can't stand it. But I know when I'm making a cross country trip, I gotta ride at night. I gotta
Yeah,
ride some
Yeah.
yeah,
nights. So typically for me, coming out the gate, I'll probably start midnight the first time, and then ride all the way through till dusk. But I typically, on the average, the next day, I typically get up and start pounding about 4 in the morning. I don't stop until dusk, But I know, and I do it like that because I got to get some momentum. But at the same time, I like to be able to, just withstand a little bit of dark, and then it's daylight before I know it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's how
okay.
we normally do. Yeah.
So any other other than the lights, any other modifications that you guys did
Uh, n-
for the bike?
no, the only thing that basically, right before we left, I have a few more miles than she has, so I went ahead and I checked the tires, because if the tires were anywhere where I didn't think they would make it, I'd been changing those definitely before
Sure.
time. Did oil change, of course, before time. I always do our own oil changes and everything.
Hmm.
And basically, no major modifications. I can think of no major modifications.
No, I
But only
mean,
thing I put the harness on for the heated gear. That was it.
Hmm.
But one thing I did find out on her bike, like we have the little bras on the tank, and we tried the heated gear to make sure it worked, but we really didn't mount it where we were going to have it mounted at. And on her bike, we put it under the little bra under the tank so she could get to it. That turned out to be a little mistake because we
scratch
got a
my
couple of
paint.
little scratches. In fact, I'll probably buff them out because it's not really deep scratches, but a couple of scratches on the tank. On
Hmm.
mine, where my tank bag is, that tank bag has a really strong magnet. So I just put mine on there and kind of put it up, and I had no problems. But now
Hmm.
I see they also have a little belt you can wear where the controllers go right on your little belt on the outside. So I ordered those the other day.
Listen, it was so cold. I didn't care if it was scratching my tank. I was like, that was not a concern.
It's a concern for me.
All I cared about was keeping warm. I knew it was going to scratch my
Yeah.
tank. I looked at it and I
Yeah.
said, yep.
If I had
I'm gonna
known
have
it was going to
scratches.
scratch the tank, I'd have put something around it or put something on it. I did
didn't
not know it was
care.
going to do that. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's not really a scratch. It can be buffed out now. In fact, I'll probably go out there sometime today. We haven't washed the bikes yet. Probably was going to do
Hmm.
that this morning, but some guy named Reef showed up and we decided to go have breakfast with him. So,
I think I saw. I think I saw where you had the controller. You had it kind of. You had it tucked underneath on the front portion of
Yeah.
the tank pad, right? I saw that.
Yeah, I just put
I
it.
kind of checked it
So
out, but I really didn't think much about it. I said, well, it must be pretty,
I didn't care. It was convenient because when I needed to crank that heat up, I needed
Yeah.
access to
Yeah.
it. So I was like, okay, it's either this or I get
Right.
frostbite or hypothermia or
Right.
whatever. So I said, I'm rolling with this for now. We'll figure it
Hey,
out later.
say the heck with that dang tank.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
one thing I
Hey.
also had about the heated gear that I really liked about the Gerben gear, and Saunne will tell you, every single time I got off the bike, I forgot about it. And, it unplugs so easily that when you get off the bike, I was like, darn it, I did it again. I didn't unplug. I think the very last day I told Saunne, look, I finally remembered to unplug it,
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll tell you when mine came loose. So I don't know. We could talk a little bit about it. This wasn't real bad, but on the way back,
Oh, yeah.
David was like, "Hey, I want to show you this rest stop with all these pretty rock formations and all this. It's gonna be beautiful. And the sun was
Right.
coming up. It's looking all golden." And we roll into there, and I look at the ground, and I'm like, the ground is doing the wave, and it has gravel. So I have my GoPro on. and I promise you, I'm gonna send that video. I gotta post that.
Okay.
But we're in there, and I'm like, you know what? This is like downhill for me to park, and it's gravel, and the ground is doing a wave. I'm like, I gotta back in this thing. But by the time I had my hand on that front brake, and I was getting ready to turn, and my bike went, boop. Yeah, we were at the rest stop, and Bertha,
Yeah.
that's my bike's
Yeah.
name. Bertha said, I'm taking
Yeah.
a rest. So it's
Hey, when
Bertha
that when
peeled.
hey, stuff when that happened, you go, "Oh, it's no big deal. I meant to do that."
So she
and you
just
and you look around to
went
make sure
on
to
down.
see who all saw it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I'm checking is, did it get scratched? But I have to say, for the Gerben gear, I'm glad that it doesn't tether you to the controller so tightly that
Yeah.
you rip stuff off. It totally disconnects. So that was the point I was trying to make, is that if you jump off the bike and you forget to disconnect it, it's an easy disconnect. It's not where
Mhm.
you're breaking something.
Mhm.
So when my bike fell, I wasn't even thinking about the heated gear at all. I'm just thinking about my baby on the ground.
The bike. Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. We all have to laugh about it at the end because it happens to all of us. But man,
Yeah, I said it's
you
only
just
two
hate life when
concerts.
it does happen.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
funny how Harley and Indian and those guys, they get it. That's why we put them crash bars on the bike. They get it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
Yeah.
we got
happen.
Yeah.
saddlebag guards,
Yeah.
crash, of course, crash bars on the front, and
Hmm.
then we have the covers on the saddlebag guards, so you
Yeah.
don't really scratch those up
Scratch those
either.
up as well. That's true.
Yeah.
It'd be just your luck. Some truck kicking up rocks all over the dang place. It always happens.
Oh
But let's
yeah.
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
if you guys don't mind, let's say, okay, so when you left Jacksonville, the weather it wasn't bad.
It was warm.
Did Yeah,
Yeah, we were
it
actually
wasn't
hot.
bad at
Remember,
all.
we were talking. It was hot out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Matter of fact, we kept trying to dodge to get away from the sun. Am I
Yeah.
doing the video? So, uh, let's say, okay, so for your ride, because obviously you came up from Southern Florida to start in Jacksonville. So you had a couple hundred, 300 miles that you had to do the
About just over
Panhandle.
300 some, just over 300 some miles.
Yeah, over 300 to get to the Panhandle, then to go left. Um,
Right.
did you guys have a particular strategy? Let's say, how were you monitoring weather? What were you dealing with? Hey,
Oh,
we know
for
this
every
to this
Well,
GPS.
for
time.
weather, let me tell you, I got a couple of different apps. I got this Garmin. I have the Garmin Sumo. It,
How do you turn
Okay.
it? You can't turn it on.
yeah, you can turn
Yeah.
it. It's great for weather because you can, besides,
In real
GPS.
time, he was telling me looking at the radar and all that. Because I
Hmm.
mean, we all use our phones for weather apps,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's nothing like seeing your route and the
Right.
weather superimposed on top of
Yeah,
it.
because
There
Garmin
it
Sumo.
is.
Well, there's no. Let me see if there's any weather out here now. I
But
can show
he
you.
was like, every time I was getting colder, as the further we got out west, I was like, okay, what's the temperature now? What's the temperature now? And he was able to tell me, because I couldn't wear my Apple Watch because the sleeves were so tight
Yeah, I don't
on
know if you
my
can see that.
the
Yeah, I can
sleeves
see
were
it.
so tight on
Hmm.
my jacket, and then I
Yeah.
didn't want to be fiddling with my phone, so he has this mounted right. I guess it's right before
Right,
right on top
right
of
in
some
front of the entertainment. Right in front of this. What the
infotainment.
GTS
If yeah,
system? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so he has that mounted, and he's telling me the temperature and the weather conditions that we're getting ready to run into in advance. So I would highly recommend that, as far as like a secondary way to, kind of look at what the weather's going to be. Because even when we finally made it out to LA, um, one thing that he found out was there was a storm coming. So, he was able to monitor all of that stuff. I mean, we were at that point, we were in the hotel, but as we're even leaving LA and the storm is coming, we're like, we're going to beat this,
Hmm.
because he could see our position in correlation to the storm that was coming. So I thought that was a real valuable tool to have at your fingertips without having to be
Right.
fiddling with your phone.
Yeah.
You don't have to pull over and check
Yeah.
anything. You're
So
getting
so
real time.
From that Garmin, you said that you'll put your route on it and it'll tell you weather along
Yeah.
your
Well,
route
you can do that, or
in
what? But wait,
advance.
what it is? If you're riding along, you can just press the weather app, and you can see. It has different ranges where you can see the weather. And like I was explaining to her, sometimes she see clouds. I'm like, well, I'm looking at the radar, the clouds may be there, but there's no precipitation, which, she found out was very true. It's usually when you see it on there, it's showing you precipitation. It's not necessarily showing you clouds, it's showing you precipitation. River, you can do that in River also, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to say anything bad against River, but I've just not had good luck with River. And River kind of,
Whether Rever cuts out,
yeah,
occasionally. Now there's another app if you just want to take a cheaper route. It's called Weather on the Way.
yeah, you can
That
do
he
that.
told me about. I think you told me about it
Yeah,
last year. That is a great app because it will show you. So you map your route, you tell it your source and your destination, and it will give
Mhm.
you the weather, what the temperatures are going to be on the way. So it'll show you little cloud and rain symbols and stuff like
Right.
that. So you have an idea of what you're going to be dealing with instead of you opening your weather app and trying to pull up every major city.
and it also gives you a
Yeah.
time, like you say you're
Yeah.
going to leave at this time, and it'll show you what the weather's supposed to be to your
Mhm.
route. And you can also put in stops on there, like, okay, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna stop here overnight or whatever. So Weather on the Way for especially
Mhm.
for a free app, it's pretty good. It's
Weather on
pretty
the way.
accurate.
Yep.
Yeah, I use my radar, but I don't think you can
Yeah,
do
I've
it
used that
with
one.
the route. But it's pretty dang good. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
There's
it's
a few
pretty
of them out there,
accurate.
but
Yeah.
like I said, the thing I like about the Garmin is the fact that it has different reporting points, and like when you're riding, like every time she asks me
Mhm.
the temperature, I'll say, okay, the temperature here, and I'll just press it,
Mhm.
and to say like it'll give you where you're at or a reporting point, like okay, El Paso Airport reports this, so if I'm pretty close to El Paso, it's going to be a generally pretty good
Mhm.
prediction of what it is.
I
Even
saw
though when you
somebody.
get in the mountains, once you go in the mountains, if you're in the valley
Oh
or
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
up
yeah,
high,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
whole different temperature.
It's up and down. It's all over the place. 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here.
Yep.
But I saw somebody said information center gives you also elevation timid. Yeah, it does. But
Yeah.
I think what we were getting at with that Garmin is that you were able to put a route, and then it was able to tell you whether along your route in advance. Is that
You know what?
the big
I
part of
think
it?
it has that feature, but I actually haven't used it. It got so many features on it though. And another thing I
Wow.
like about the Garmin is after about an hour and a half, if you haven't stopped anything, it'll come up and says, asks you if you're ready to take a break, and it'll sit
Right.
there and say gas station here, gas station here. It tells you, what miles the gas station's at,
Right.
whether there's food there, whether there's gas, also whether there's any
Yeah.
motorcycle
Yeah.
service there.
I
Because.
was particularly interested in the food feature because I was always I was
Hmm.
always hungry. But I learned that I had to curtail eating what I wanted to eat on the road
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
also make you sleepy.
Oh, we
And
gonna get
I'll
there.
bring up once.
Yeah,
Okay,
we gonna get there.
we'll do that again later.
Hey, but I'm let's see. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Okay, a Garmin to me is a good idea. And when you have everything wrapped to your phone, something happens to your phone, then that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, we've had to
yeah.
do that before. We've had to do that before when we went. I mean, I-10 was easy, but
Hmm.
sometime if you're going somewhere else and you want the directions, I always put them in on the Garmin also, because the thing about the Garmin, of course, it's all GPS. So if you're sometimes your phone, you'll be on CarPlay or something, and you just look like you're on a straight grid, and if you go off that grid,
Right.
the phone's like, look, you turned to a different direction. I can't help you no more. Whereas the
Hmm.
Garmin, it's always there. So now
Okay.
I do like that about the Garmin.
Okay. So let's talk about, if you guys don't mind, let's talk about conditions on the road. As far as like rest, let's talk about uh, how did you keep nourished? Let's talk about the body as far as taking care of yourself on the road.
Okay.
If- Any
So
specific things
for
that you did?
so for me beforehand, so I've been rehabbing both of my shoulders because I participated in a Facebook push-up contest, which I will never do again. But
Is
I
that from
I
what Kodak had or something? That was from
her
what
name is
Kodak?
Angel. She's a lady that did the ride with snacks to
Okay,
Alaska. So she put it out there, and I was like, "Hey,
okay.
yeah, I'll do a push-up contest. I'll do that." And I jacked myself up. So I've been rehabbing my shoulders for at least 6 months. So then
Hmm.
that evolved into me also doing yoga and strength training.
Hmm.
So I've been doing yoga, strength training, and Pilates for a few months to kind of. I was just doing it in general, but once I figured out, oh, I could probably do this ride, I was like, I gotta get myself together because shoulder pain is a consistent thing with me on
Hmm.
long rides. So that, and I also have vertigo and asthma. So I was like, I got to get myself, together. So I got more serious about working out. And then because I have asthma, I try to make sure I keep my core warm because, that would be an entry point for me getting bronchitis and or
Oh, for
asthma
sure.
attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really just trying to get enough rest. I think I said in one of the other videos, sometimes I might lollygag a little too long at gas stations. But what I started realizing was, man, every few minutes I'm wasting at these gas stations, these are minutes of sleep that I'm wasting. If you add up all that time, you've wasted an hour, 2 hours of your sleep time. So I was like, okay, I got to get myself together because you know, I'm not going to be able to sleep for as long as I would have liked to sleep. And if you get enough rest, you can just jump right up and be ready for your ride instead of
Right.
being groggy when you get up. So,
That's that.
rest was an important thing. And as far as nourishment, um, so I tried to get us, like, I was primarily the one going in the store because I always had to use the restroom. We'll talk about that. But I try to get fruits, and we drink a lot of coconut water,
Hmm.
Smart Water. Gator Light is one of the things that he doesn't like Gator Light, but I drink it. And
Hey,
then
David, you don't like Gator. David, you don't like Gator
it
like.
doesn't taste good, but I mean, all
Yeah,
medicine doesn't taste good.
that's right.
So I was like, okay, let me do that. And one of my friends also reached out to me, shout out to Nia, and said, hey, you need to try Gator Light. I was like, I'm already on it. And then sometimes Gatorade. So we did that, and we tried to stop at Love's because Love's has an array of different things. Like if you want boiled eggs or you want a burger, you have everything
Yeah,
from the healthy stuff
a
to the
lot of the
not healthy
protein pack
stuff.
type stuff with the egg and what else they
Yeah,
do?
you could do all of that. So
Yeah,
Love's was a good place
yeah,
because they have just about everything you want, and the restrooms are generally clean.
right.
So we had that, and I had my fair share of those doggone Chester's chicken sandwiches. If I see it, like I said before, I was like, if I don't see
Yeah,
another Chester's chicken sandwich,
right,
I'm
right.
good because I
Yeah,
wore them out. We
yeah.
primarily ate at the Love's gas stations. We didn't
Okay,
hardly eat out at
right,
all.
right. Let me ask you. So, was it cheaper to eat at the Love's truck stop
It was
versus
a
going to
matter
a
of
restaurant?
time.
It was
You
just
don't want to
time.
go be sitting down trying to have a candlelight dinner. You ain't got
Yeah, yeah,
time for
yeah. You
that.
can't be playing. You can't be doing Longhorn. Huh? You can't be doing that
No,
kind of stuff. Yeah, you
no.
got to keep it pushing.
And we did pizza like one night. I think maybe our
Second
second night
night
because
we
on
did
the
pizza.
iron, but we
Yeah, the
didn't
first night
we just
find
wasn't
me a
Yeah,
getting to,
bed.
yeah.
just find something to
But the
get
second
it
night we
going.
ordered some good Domino's pizza.
Hmm.
Was that Fort Stockton?
No, that was
I
yeah, it
don't
had to
know
be Fort Stockton. It had to be Fort
because
Stockton.
we
Hmm.
were in
Yeah,
Louisiana the first night.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it had to be
so
Fort Stockton. Yeah.
we just kind of did some gas station, mostly gas station food. When we
Hmm.
got to, we were back in Fort Stockton on the way back. We sat down and had a steak dinner. That was one of the full meals
What's the
that we
name of the
had.
place?
K-Bob's.
K-Bob's in Stockton. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
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 good
it was really
steakhouse.
good.
K-Ball was probably the only restaurant in Stockton, isn't
It
it?
wasn't a
Stockton may
whole
have a
lot.
couple of them.
They
Yeah,
got like
Yeah,
it's like one of the one horse towns where you see
oh for sure.
tumbleweeds.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that.
Hey, Stockton's like a major metropolis in Western Texas out there because ain't much.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
That and
yeah,
Van Horn.
yeah. Van
yeah,
Horn, yeah, and that's it until you get to what El Paso.
Yep.
Yeah, ain't much else after that.
yeah.
Yeah, so let's, if you don't mind, let's transition over to oh boy, let's talk about okay, because I think on your strategy, you guys were looking to get from you're looking to get across in what 4 days?
Four
Yes.
days, yeah.
Okay,
Because he
so
did
what
it
was
in
your
two during his solo ride,
man? He did it
and
in hours.
I ain't
He did it
doing
in
that.
hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was on some other stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But for us normal people, so
right.
um, what was your strategy?
I mean, again, my strategy was let's do all the hard riding first,
Hmm.
and try to get as much daylight as possible because I know that there are critters especially in Texas. I've seen them.
For
So
sure.
I was like, at least if you leverage as much daylight as you can once we get to, so we start out in Florida, stopped in Louisiana the first day, and then after that, we quickly got into Texas. After our iron butt to Louisiana, we said no more night riding if possible. So that was the strategy, was let's leverage as much daylight because of visibility. But secondly, at night, that's when the critters come out and it gets cold. So the more you get into the nighttime riding, the colder you're going to be. And I can't imagine, like, it was like 28 degrees in the daytime on one of the days. I think that was Fort Stockton again on the way back, but it was 30
on the way there.
On the way there.
And
it was 32 in Fort Stockton, and then it dropped to 30 when the sun came up. And I was like, I don't even know how that is possible, but it happened. And we had like ice on the seats and all that stuff. So the goal was, let's do as much daylight riding as possible, specifically because I don't like to ride at night. It's like sometimes my eyes do like little optical illusions where I think the road is breaking one way and it's breaking another way.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do daylight as much as possible.
And and something else that just popped in my mind as you were speaking about that. Riding more in the wintertime and the daytime is better because it's a few things that come into play. First of all, you have less daylight. So that's a issue. And then if you think about if you have a failure late at night, standing on the side of the road and the temperatures are very, very cold. And then now you're waiting on maybe roadside assistance, and that could be hours. That could put you in a tough position, as far as health and life is concerned. So I just thought about that when you were speaking about that. I'm like,
one other thing I was thinking too. So we're really happy with the heated gear that plugs in, but I also thought I will probably still always have battery powered heated gear as a backup, because if something happens to your bike and it's giving you no power, then you're just out there with nothing, besides whatever layers you have.
Right.
So I'll probably always still have some double form of heated gear because of that. Because I saw a few cars on the side of the road. I was like, those poor people, they're probably out here freezing.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't be freezing as much as you would be freezing.
Oh yeah. I mean,
trust and believe.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about this. Okay, we know we were prepped well, and for those who are out here listening to this interview, this is not my typical normal I-10 to the end post interview. This is a little bit different, and I asked the Bells to take it in this direction because this is a different type of get down at this point. We're talking about weather and extreme cold temperatures. So I really want to focus in on this because this has a lot that it could benefit us from, especially for the ones who are going to be traveling here over the next few weeks. So I wanted to really hone in on that to hopefully help some of those riders to get some good tips to prepare themselves to be able to make a ride safely and efficiently. So, I asked him personally to do this just a little bit different for us. But let's talk about were there any difficulties on the ride? Because it seemed like you guys' ride was really, really smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we had any major difficulties. Like we said, we had a few issues with that, the lights shorting out on his bike a little bit, but it didn't change the way the bike rode or in any way. One issue that I had, and I kind of hit on in one of my other videos on your page, is that because the weather was cold, I had like some kind of condition that made me have to use the restroom a lot. And I researched the issue, and it is a real thing where your body starts, I guess your veins or something start to constrict in cold weather. And for some people, then they're more affected. And if you keep having to go to the restroom like that, it could be a precursor for hypothermia. So I was like,
that's interesting.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. But I do know typically when it's really cold, you have to pee a lot. You do. But I never thought about nothing like that, man.
Yeah, I'll paste the article on your page
Please
so that
do.
if other people,
please do.
are affected by that they know. But I was like, okay, I could have been in a danger zone for, hypothermia and not know it.
Yeah.
but definitely dehydration. That was another
Yeah.
thing that I kept dealing with because I had to go to the restroom so much. So I had to keep replenishing those
That
fluids.
fluid, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something even when you're doing cold weather riding like that, the last thing you want to do is continue to stay hydrated. But that's the thing you most have to do is stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting
Yeah.
stuff. And oh, by the way, I think you gotta eat too. I think it's
Gotta
a little bit
eat.
more important to eat in the winter than it is in the summer. To
Yeah.
me, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but I know some guys and some like, hey man, I'm just gonna have some snacks and I'm gonna have some snacks and
Thanks, my bad.
Yeah. This
sorry
guy.
about that.
This is him. This is
Yeah.
him right here. That this is the
Are you just
person you're
gonna do the
looking for.
snacks?
That this just
You just
wants
gonna do the
to
snacks?
eat a Snicker bar or
Uh-huh.
some beef jerky and just keep rolling. No. And he
I
knows
can do
I'm
it.
not rolling like that. I need some food. I need to chew on something.
I can do it when I can do it in the summertime, but in wintertime I probably have to eat a little bit more.
Yeah.
Summertime I don't eat because I don't want to fall asleep too much, but in wintertime I eat because I have no energy.
Yeah.
So the most important thing I think is obviously you have to continue to stay hydrated no matter what. Eating, it depends on you how your body feels.
I ate
Sometimes.
lighter because
Mm-hmm,
I'm a person that likes to eat. I mean, that's
mm-hmm,
just anybody that knows me knows. Yeah, we try. She is a ride to eat person.
mm-hmm,
But on this trip, I wanted to see if I could lower my portion sizes just so
mm-hmm,
that I wouldn't be eating enough to make me sleepy. Because that was we did that one place. I ate the whole chicken sandwich, and I
mm-hmm,
was like, yeah, this was a mistake. Because I'm starting to feel like I want to go cuddle up in bed somewhere, which I can't do. So I said, yeah, you need to tighten it up next time. Just eat enough just to kind of kill the hunger. And then you got, another gas stop. If you need to get another little something else, then you can do that. But
So
definitely, I stayed away from sweets also.
yeah, that sugar, that sugar is just is
Yeah, this one was
yeah,
they had Cinnabon in one of the love stops, and he was like, "I need a whole cinnamon
not the
roll."
Cinnabon.
Oh yeah,
Now I'm gonna probably get a Cinnabon. I ain't gonna play. I might work down
and it
the
was smelling good too.
Cinnabons.
But I was like, "Not me."
Yeah, but do you on the road since we're talking about that? I know some people do coffee, some people do the 5 hour energy, some people do the Red Bull. Do you do any of that type of stuff, or you try to stay
So
away from it?
I one of the things. So we had to go to Texas in early December. We actually were driving coming back, and I was like, I had never used the 5 hour energy, so I was like, okay, since we're driving, let me test this on my body. I'm glad that I tested it then because
Hmm.
then I had the opportunity to see the impact of it. I said 5 hour energy isn't for me.
Yeah,
So I'm a Red Bull person or a
yeah,
coffee person. But I did I tried to not drink a whole lot of coffee because it makes me jittery.
yeah.
And
Well,
so
not only that, it's gonna make you go to the bathroom too.
yeah, it's a
That heart shit,
diuretic.
everything shaking up.
So
Yeah,
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 I was like, okay, let me just find a happy medium. So like Love's has a small coffee cups, which are probably like 12 ounces or so. So I would drink like half of that. And
hmm,
sometimes I do half decaf, half caffeine. I just need a little kick to
right,
help keep me going.
yeah,
But he did like the extra strength 5 hour energy.
One time, and she told me I can't have no more.
Oh boy.
yeah,
Now now you're starting to know David, and you know that
yeah,
he's a talker. But on
yeah,
5 hour energy,
yeah.
he was running.
He's amped up, huh?
Yeah, he was amped up, and yeah, no more for you, no more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do. The first probably gas stop. I'll do. If I'll do what's it? Red Bull. I know Kodak don't like Red Bulls, man,
I like
and that's the
Red
only
Bull.
I
time I
don't like
I
do.
Red
like
Bull
the
either.
taste of it. He
I,
hates it.
Yeah,
I don't like
Yeah,
but
it,
I don't.
especially when
It,
it's warm.
but say in my normal everyday, I don't fool with none of that type of stuff. But normal on the bike because I don't want to drink coffee because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom like that.
yeah,
The second part is the Red Bull. One time I just put myself on and say, so just let me get hyped up one time and get pushing. And then after that, I'm consistently doing water or adult Pedialyte, those type of things. And,
yeah.
obviously no other caffeine products at all. just because I don't want to do the very thing I'm trying to do. I don't want to dehydrate myself trying to get hydrated. So, I'm
Yeah.
very conscious of that kind of stuff. And I don't do potato chips and all that. I don't do all that stuff on the road. I try to do something more like nuts and fruit and that type of stuff.
Yeah, so someone
Mhm.
put trail mix
Yeah,
and something on in the chat.
yeah,
I
trail
think
mix and
trail
water.
mix is good.
And
Yeah,
whoever's saying remove half the bun, not mine. I'm getting a
no
full
sir, we gonna
Cinnabon.
and no sir, we ain't quitters. We going in.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
If you
You,
gonna do it, do it, man. If you ain't gonna do it, don't play around with it. No half step in here.
and let me tell you one other thing that helped me. Like, I'd be, behind him riding. I'm like, I'm tired, and I was like, let's just stop for a second. Let's take a break. And every time if we had to do that, we always topped off. But the stops were more helpful than coffee or anything, because it's like you get a chance to kind of take a break. Your mind takes a break. Your body takes a break. So even for that 10 or 15 minutes you're at the gas station, that is rejuvenating to your body, in my opinion. So I think, if you're feeling real sleepy, you may just have to pull over and stop at a gas station real quick and get your bearings.
Or rest stop if you have to.
I call it rewarding yourself. My making it to the next gas stop, just to be at a rest is I'm rewarding myself. So what I'm going through over the next 2.5, 3 hours, okay, I want to get to the next reward.
Yeah,
And that's to get off the seat and be able to stretch and walk and loosen up your back.
yeah.
So that's the way I look at it to kind of motivate myself around the uh, I use gas station. The gas station is my I don't know how you call it. It's my reward. you
Okay.
know so just keep pushing thunder on, you get to the next reward. So whatever
This one will
psychological
ride
tool you
tank
can use.
to tank. This one
uh,
is like, I will go tank to tank.
I'm tank to
I
tank.
don't care. It's up
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
you to tell me that you got to
I would
stop.
tell
yeah,
her
Because
she
if
has to tell
not,
me when to stop.
he's
yeah,
going to keep going.
yeah. I'll tank to tank on you in a minute, just because I typically I don't care what nobody says. Uh, I don't care how fun you say the ride is. There's portions on that ride about 90% of the time it ain't. It
Oh,
ain't
I was
fun.
like, why am I
Yeah,
out here?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
why did I
Ain't
decide to
that
do
fun?
this? Oh,
That's
and
why
it's
I
too
laugh.
late now. Now you're in Arizona or wherever.
Yeah,
I was like, you can't turn back now.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well,
That
we
was
might as
that
well
was
go ahead and finish it.
that was one of the reasons I created this channel as well, because I would always see years ago everybody's in front of the Texas sign smiling. Yeah, everybody's now. You up in New York, man. If you don't knock it off, we
Because
know
they act like it's
95% of
beautiful
that ride,
all
man,
the
is stunk.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you fooling people, man. You perpetrating a fraud. You know that ride is not
I was
easy.
like, Lord help me. Let me
Hey, but
tell you something. If you don't have a prayer life, you gonna get one on that road.
oh,
I do. Because there are times I'm like, Lord, just please help me to make it. Lord,
hmm
please don't let any animals come out here and decide they want to jump into the tires.
yeah, little
Please help
victories,
me do
man.
it.
They're praying for little victories at a time. You
Yeah.
know, my grandmother used to say, Chris, you know how you eat an elephant? And I said, no, how do you eat an elephant? She said, one bite at a time.
One bite
One
at a
bite
time.
at a time. That's how you have to do it. Hey, if you guys don't mind, let's kill the last segment. Let's bring this thing into
Okay.
home, because I know y'all got a
Okay.
life too. Let's do this. Let's do this portion. Let's go. The good, the bad, the ugly about the ride.
So the good, I will say so I'm a fan of sunrises. So anytime we get to ride and this is the sunrise, I'm like, I'm there. I want to see that. And also what was good was riding with him, for multiple reasons, because he's my husband. I love him. And
A couple who ride together stay together. You dig?
yeah, so there was that. And then also leveraging his experience. So I was blessed by that because, he kind of knew what to expect for the most part. He knew the major cities we would have possible issues with traffic, the planning, as far as like when we got to LA, we didn't stay on, I mean, we had dinner on the pier, but right after that, we left out of there so that we could get 40 miles back east so that we wouldn't be facing any traffic that morning. So that was good as far as the planning. I thought that was it was expertly planned. So the fact that I have a professional rider as my
Where you
husband,
at?
and that he kind of anticipated some things. So he's very strategic and tactical when it comes to planning a ride. Like you would think that he's planning for like some war or something, because he's on top of the details with the hotels and where our room is going to be. It needs to be near the elevator,
Yeah,
all
he's a
this stuff,
thorough guy
where we
now.
parking the
Yeah, he's a
bikes.
thorough guy. Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of gas stations are 24 hours. He's thinking of all these things. So I, in essence, really don't have to, but he knows that I'm also going to ask him those kinds of questions too. So I think the good was the planning. The ride itself was a part of the good, because it was straightforward. I mean, we didn't have any major. We had a few traffic, issues every now and then, but for the most part, there was not any real bad traffic. The weather was. Oh, somebody said she's about to hit you for something. Honey, I don't have to hit him for anything. Before I even think to ask, he's buying me whatever I want.
Actually, to be
But
honest, I didn't even understand what that was about.
I don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as
Hey,
far as
let me say this. Whoever said that, mind your business. Mind your business.
yeah, but yeah, I thought the route was just. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's set in stone, but I didn't have anything I was really afraid of. Like there are some places that you ride, like where you on the dragon, or these places I hear like the Pig's Tail and all these crazy rides. I felt like it was achievable for me. And part of that was that I have him that's ridden it before, and I have other friends that have done it. So that made me feel like, okay, I could do this. So that was the good.
The bad.
Awesome.
The bad dropping my bike.
In LA traffic.
Yikes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad was I dropped my baby on the side of a mountain.
Yeah. Hey, we can laugh about it now. We can laugh about it.
Yeah.
Only thing got hurt that day was egos.
The ego got hurt. I just
Yeah.
stood there and he was like, help me pick this thing up. So that was a little bit bad. And like you said, the LA traffic was just
that was ugly.
It's ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that we consider that ugly.
Ugly, yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot. The people drive crazy. Some people, we saw them lane splitting, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not in that camp.
I love that
I
lane
wanted
splitting
to,
stuff.
but she
I
wouldn't,
love that
so.
stuff, man.
No, not after you see
Yeah.
people cutting each other off. I mean,
Yeah.
just so very disrespectful.
Yeah.
I was like, nah.
I tell you though, one of the reasons why we ate down at the pier in Santa Monica, because we got down there like right after rush hour, and I looked on the Waze thing, and all you saw was red, and we could see it down. It wasn't nothing moving, so we said, well, we're going to be stuck down here anyway. And I think our hotel was like 40 miles away, and it showed us like almost 2 hours getting to the hotel. I'm like,
yeah.
Why are we even and we have to park. Luckily, we parked right in front of a restaurant.
Yeah,
I didn't go down
hey,
to there.
David was not gonna lead them motorcycles.
No, not hard enough. What's gonna happen? Not with all the stuff on it too. So I told her, I said, go ahead and run down and get your picture. She wanted me to come down with her. I said, no, I've had my picture already.
I wanted to take it with him, but I said, well, I'm gonna go, and I'm walking down there. I'm looking like the people are looking at me like fresh meat.
Yeah.
She
looking like a straight up tourist.
Exactly. And I just started putting this little pep in my step, like, okay, now come over here if you want to. Yeah.
But I tell you what, it's been so much fun watching you guys ride. It's just the coolest thing in the world. You guys were so prepared, and you did my heart a fabulous service, because you said, "Hey, Sarge, we watched the videos."
We did. Yeah.
When you
and
make
then
the
people were
videos,
telling us stuff along the way too. I mean, I had people on your page just saying, "Oh, you got this. Keep going." And we're watching you. We're praying for you. All that stuff. I think that is something that's like energy to you. It helps
cool
keep
stuff.
you going.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that a whole lot.
Only the other thing I say, like the people like Carl. Well, Reef, we saw Reef this morning, so he don't count no more.
Oh.
But and Low Key and a few other people did invite us to stop by. I mean, like I said, my wife has to work, so we were kind of like on a tight schedule. So I mean, I really appreciate all the people that want to stop or want to ride with us some. And maybe next time we can do this or whatever. But we were just on a tight schedule, and I really appreciate all the invitations and everything. I mean, don't think it wasn't,
And the
appreciated.
people that
And the people that
donated
donated, we
something to
definitely
us.
appreciate you.
So
Like I
cool.
say,
Yeah.
it's
It,
helpful.
it
Like I say, I like to
it's
donate to things. Everything's appreciated.
it's a phenomenon. It's a wave. I love it so much, because we really see the power of the people when we unite together for these type of things, and that's why I tell everybody, you really should share the ride. You don't know who you're influencing, whose life that you're touching, who you're inspiring by what you're doing. So you guys did it well. I loved your videos. I loved all the things that you guys did. And oh, by the way, I love them cool shirts y'all wearing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and do you like my where is
Hey,
it? My patch?
hey, so I'm gonna say this. Hey, hey, Sonny had to take off the supporter shirt and put on the
Oh yeah, that was a big motivator. I would go in
yeah.
the closet and look at that shirt and be like, I want the other shirt. I want the other
Hey, Sonny said, no, sir, I'm gonna be wearing the real shirt. No longer am I JV. I'm the team now. That's what's up, man. So,
Oh, it's a
shout out to you
blessing.
guys. I appreciate it so much. And like I said, we're not gonna hold you much longer. You guys have shared so much of your time, your personal space with us, and we appreciate it so much. David, by the way, those links, man, if you can hook those things up on the page, I
Okay.
really appreciate it because I think you guys had the secret sauce to going across with some of the best equipment out there. So, shout out to you guys for sharing all that stuff with us. And
Shout out to
And the only
all
other
of
thing I
your
want to mention
people.
again for the people that's not on the links that you get those gas apps, because at Love's gas station you save 10 cents a gallon for each one.
Mhm.
Chevron, like I said, they still have the special going on where your first 3 fill ups, it's $1 a gallon off. I mean, those things count.
let's add up. Yeah, for sure. What you gonna?
No, that was, I'm good. You
Okay,
got
I
anything
thought
to
she
say?
was saying something.
Oh no.
No, what I was also saying was just again, I appreciate again the videos. I appreciate the folks that come on and just give us tips because you can't assume that, like both of us have been writing a long time, but we don't know everything. So I
Hmm.
think the you always, like you say, each one teach one. That
Teach one.
really is a real thing. That
Yes.
we're learning from each other. And like
Yes.
you even said that you learned something from the videos where some people come on. So
Oh,
you
100.
can't assume that
100.
everybody knows everything. And I
Yeah.
like having links so you can go back and reference it. I like that the videos are saved.
Hmm.
So you could go in preparation for your ride. You could go back and watch 5, 10 videos and kind of study up on what you
Yeah.
need to do to prepare
Refresh.
yourself. So that's what we
Refresh.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. Refresh.
Yeah.
I tell you, you guys become the wife and I as favorite motorcycle riding couple. I
Oh,
hadn't
thank
I
you. You
hadn't
know
came
we
up with an
love you and
affection. I
D.
haven't came up with a affectionate name for you guys, but
Oh.
y'all gonna get a name. It's coming up soon. You guys have showed us how to do it well. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all the time, and from all of us, from the I-10 to the end family. Now, welcome aboard, Sonny. You're in there now.
Woo! Woo! Thank you so much.
And before I let you go, just a public service announcement. In 2024, the wife wanted me to publish this. We've had 9 PIFs. We've had
Yeah.
7 people register from those PIFs, and we have 2 PIFs left. So if you want to get in, oh, by the way, the Bells, they're PIF. And so they
Yeah.
Yep.
gave a PIF also. They gave a gift, a donation. So get with us, get your behind registered for this ride. There's no excuse. I-10 to the end. It ain't for everybody. No, it ain't for everybody. You're gonna have to willing to be paying the price to be able to be a winner when it comes to this type of ride. But each one teach one is so beautiful, such a beautiful thing. 2024, we ready? Any last words, the Bells, before we let this thing go?
I
See you in
just,
February.
well, I got one thing. I want
Okay,
you all to donate to Big Sarge's page. If you put your link up somewhere, Sarge,
I
so
sure
that
will. Thank you
I
so
know that
much.
this stuff isn't free. I'm looking at that expensive microphone, all this streaming, the GoPro memory cards and batteries, and all the
Yes,
stuff that
ma'am.
you and D are
Wh-
doing. I know it's not cheap. So I got something coming for you,
I,
mister,
I appreciate you.
because I appreciate everything you're doing. And I know it's not free.
I
and all
appreciate
the
you so
time and
much.
gas, and you meeting up with everybody. We love you for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Matter of fact, an IT person knows about this stuff.
I
If
know.
nobody else knows. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So, Bells, we're going to say this. Y'all keep it motorcycling. Enjoy. All right.
Yeah.
You
Take care.
dig?
God bless.
God
Okay,
bless you.
bye.